All right, so I'm starting to build my evaporator, and kind of underestimated how small 5-gallon drums are. Lengthwise, they're just about as long as my pan, which is potentially going to be a little problematic. So what I wanted to do is cut a hole in the top of the barrel, put my pan on top, and have my door in the front. I have one of them door kits that I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, this is gonna be a little challenging. I think I'm still gonna do it. It'll just be a little more funky than I wanted it to be. So first thing I'm gonna do with this stove kit is I have the seam right here. I'm gonna use the seam because that'll kind of give me a center point. So I think we're gonna get the feet on first and start from there. What I'm gonna do is just kind of roughly eyeball it. All right, yeah, we'll go with that one. And what I'm gonna do, because I won't be able to get the drill in here, I'm just gonna kind of try my best to score a hole. All right, there's my little score marks right there. That was easy enough. For a heavy duty drum, that drill's pretty easy actually. Alright, now we're going to snug them up. One's on, it's not moving. This next one's going to be a little more challenging because it's going to be back on this edge here. So we'll just do our best. I'm going to spin this around and we'll get the other set on. I think what I'm going to do is just move it up a little bit. This should be more than stable. You know, with these legs kind of offset a little bit. To be honest with you, I don't care if these measurements are off a little bit. For what I'm using it for and the length of life I'm going to get out of it, you know, this barrel is only going to last a couple of years, so I'm not going to kill myself, you know, getting these measurements like super exact. Just trying to get this done relatively quick. Second set, here we go. There is a little bit of a flare to these. I'm putting this this groove side facing out. I'm putting the flat side facing in. Probably doesn't make a big difference, but that's how I'm doing it anyway. Right, what I'm gonna do is just set these in place. Alright, I'm gonna have to have my daughter come out and help. I can't reach in and hold the bolts up, so my daughter's gonna come out and help. Alright, sweetie, what I need you to do is just hold down on this bolt here, okay? Okay, what I want you to do...
Hold the other one.
Yeah, can you hold that? Hold it right up there. Hold it nice and tight. Alright, here we go.
The one that's twisting?
Alright, perfect. Alright, there's one. Alright, good? Okay, let's go over to the next one.
Screwdriver?
Yep. Alright, perfect. Got it
Just
right.
making sure it's nice and tight.
It's tight, thank you.
That's tight.
Yeah, we're good. Alright, Riley's finishing up the legs there. But there's the legs. That was actually pretty easy. This one was kind of a pain, but weren't too bad. Okay, so it's slanted down towards us just because of the slope we're on. But it's sitting nice and sturdy. It's looking pretty good. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this plug here, this removable plug. This is just kind of a screw plug that can unscrew. I'm going to try to line this up with this welded seam here because we're roughly in the center of that with the legs. So what I'm going to do is roughly line that up. That's roughly going to be our center point, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this so I can put a metal pipe in there and hook it up to a shop vac to blow air in, and that'll help to really get the fire roaring. So I'm going to get this on. This I'm just going to kind of offset to the side, And if you're looking at this and this angle's throwing you off, somebody put some paint over here. I don't know what they covered. They covered like a sticker or something. So if the angle of that's throwing you off, that's why. It's just the paint angle. Okay. This door should pop off. All right, I'm just gonna spend a little time to make sure this is rough center. And you guys probably can't see it, but what I'm doing is I'm lining up here down to the feet. I'm gonna make a little micro adjustment to the way this thing is sitting. I'm gonna get this roughly as square as I can. So what I'm gonna do is just make a rough cutout of where the door is gonna be. And I'm also gonna mark these air holes, because I'll have to make a little cut down that way as well. All right, so I'm gonna get the grinder out and we're gonna see if we can use the grinder to cut the hole. All right, we're gonna use just an angle grinder, hoping that's strong enough to cut through this metal. All right, we're just gonna cut along this. What I'm gonna do is try to do a line that will connect down to this line, and it should drop out all as one square, I'm hoping. All right, had to get some earplugs. I want to put some extra glasses on just to be safe. All right, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that'll work. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to cut the air holes next. All right. Yeah, let's do a rough look. All right, that looks good. All right, give you a close-up. All right, so this is a rough fit. Came out pretty good. I don't know if you can see through there. There's my hand. That's the air hole there. I could have cut that off, but I left it just for a little structural integrity. But this part's done. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna look kind of over the top of it, and I'm gonna line it up with the legs to the best I can. Gonna get it as square as I can. All right, next step, just gonna go through, drill a bunch of holes. Same size drill bit. What I'm gonna do is do one, I'll do one cross. That way I don't have to keep taking this off and on. I'll just tighten these two down and just work my way around. We're going to go up to this corner one here. Now I'll be able to snug this down pretty tight and just work my way along it. One more hole. That's the last hole. All right, just got to put the rest of these in. Oh, damn it. Oh, come on.
You do it, then I'll grab it.
Okay. Careful.
Keep coming.
Can you? No, it's gonna drop. Can you grab it? Grab it.
Got it.
Got it.
Let go. Oh, stinks in here. Got it.
Nice.
Ew, grease.
Riley saved the day. All right, last one. And the door is good. Okay. Perfect. That door's on. That's moving freely. Here we go. Door is done. Perfect. All right, that door is good. That door is ready. So now comes the tough part. Is figuring out where this needs to be. Because the problem I'm running into is my pan is exactly as long as this friggin' barrel is. So the big thing when you boil down maple syrup is surface area. You want to get as much surface area as you can on the fire. And in order for me to do that, I'll have to cut down to probably right about here. All right, I'm not going to get too scientific with this. See, the hard thing is if I cut over too far, I may have too big of a hole. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go a little higher up, which will give me a little less of a hole. And if I need to open it up more, I can. But I mean, in order, so I mean, right about here would be ideal. But I'm going to go up just a little higher. I know my head's right in the way. All right. So I'm going to start my cut right there. And once it gets cut through here, I'll make my center line down the other way. All right, earmuffs, extra glasses. Here we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start where this line left off. Try to get that as level as we can, and we're going to make a mark. Okay. Now this part's going to be a little harder because it's such a long cut. But what my plan is, I'm just going to kind of go slow and do a score cut, and that should help me cut through as I'm going. Alright, there's my rough line. Go right into the other long cut. All right, this last cut I'm going to do right across the front, kind of right on the ridge here. I'm going to start there, see what that looks like. Just about perfect for what I had in mind. Alright, that is just about as good as I want to get it. I wanted a couple inches on either side of the pan just for stability purposes, and our lines under there are pretty clean. I do have to do a little bit of trimming up here so that sits a little flusher. That was kind of an ugly cut, but that's going to be pretty easy because I have plenty of room back here to work with to slide that forward. So I am super impressed with how that came out. Alright, that's about as good as I'm going to get it. With a little bit of a gap. That shouldn't make a difference. Most of the heat is going to go back to the stove. So last thing we have to do is figure out what we're going to do with the flue pipe, because this is kind of beveled a little bit, so it won't fit flush, but I may be able to do like a side exhaust, which I'm thinking I'm probably going to do. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to flue this out the side. I think that's probably the best way of doing this. All right, I'm going to go right about here. It's going to be hard to cut a circle So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of square it up a little bit. It'll make it a little bit easier. Just kind of doing a couple offset lines. It's working pretty good. It actually worked a lot better than doing a complete square like I was going to. I just did a couple, 3-inch cuts, and that got me close enough to a circle. All right, that should work. Alright, just a little bit of a lip there I gotta grind out. Let's see if I can grind this out a little bit. I got more of the buffing wheel. Alright, that should be just about perfect. There should be plenty of room. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect right there. Now we're just going to get some holes in here. Just about ready to call this a done project. Oh. Thought I had them. One more. All right, that one's good, 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 and good. Okay, that flue is in. Okay. All right, perfectly working hammer. And if you're ever wondering if that's flat to the barrel, that's closed. If it's coming off the side, it means we're wide open. All right, that is a finished barrel. I just have one more thing to do. So I'm just going to go through with that buffing wheel and try to clean up as much of this metal as I can. It's never going to be perfect, but I just want to try to get that as clean as I can. Alright guys, I think that's the finished product. I just went through and deburred all the edges here. Got them the best I could. They're all pretty smooth. Just tried to limit as many sharp edges as I could. Here we go. Finished product. Took about an hour and a half total. Still a little low. Gonna have to jack this up on some blocks. This is gonna be a pretty mean evaporator compared to what we're used to. So just to summarize real quick guys, before it gets dark, I'm just going to do a quick summary on how this evaporator worked. I am more than happy with how this thing worked. This thing is far more efficient. It cooks the sap down much faster. Just so far, I'm really impressed with it. We should have went to something like this years ago. I went through a fraction of the wood, fraction of the time, and so far I'm super happy with it. So to review that kit, the barrel stove kit, that thing's an A+. That thing's amazing. So if you happen to be looking at one of them for an evaporator, for a camp stove, for a burn pit, for whatever reason you may be looking for one, that thing's amazing. And I expect to get a couple good years out of that. But just to summarize that style of an evaporator, that thing is a pretty slick machine. So real quick numbers, we boiled down roughly 50 gallons of sap, and actual burn cook time is about 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours. Which in my opinion is pretty fast for this type of setup. It cut our prior boiling time down by probably half. So if you're looking at making an evaporator like this, I think you'd really enjoy it. You know, if you're looking to upgrade from using stock pots on like a campfire, this is a great way to go. So I think that pretty much summarizes it, guys, about the evaporator and the door kit. If you guys have any questions about either one of them, feel free to ask. I'll try my best to answer them. But we're going to sign off this one, guys, and we'll see you soon.